role of animals, especially pets, has recently been the focus of much interest and developmental research. Today, the nuclear family is the place in which human relations, love, and empathy are supposed to be taught. And in such circumstances, animal companions may play an important role, more than they did when extended families and close-knit neighborhoods provided more learning experiences for attaining socio-emotional needs. And that was discovered in 1980. The way that everybody's being so isolated, there isn't as much support, there isn't as much interaction with our neighbors, and so animals have been a help to people and to children in particular. Research data indicates that having a pet is positively correlated with feelings of importance, social competence, and self-worth. There have been distinct differences found between pet owners and non-pet owners. There are higher levels of self-concept, self-worth, and autonomy, particularly in pre-adolescent and early adolescent pet owners. I thought that was very interesting. All you who have pets for your children, good for you, unless you take them. The Journal of Pediatrics, on the physical side, in their researchers say that babies who grow up in homes with a pet, namely a dog or a cat, are less likely to get sick than children who live pet-free. The results support the idea that keeping infants' environments overly sanitized is not good for their health. Previous research has linked the presence of pets with a lower risk of allergies among babies, while a recent study in mice found that exposure to household dust from homes with a dog prevented infection with a common respiratory virus that is thought to increase the risk of childhood asthma. In a study, researchers followed 397 children born in Finland between 2002 and 2005. For the first year of life, the parents kept weekly logs of their children's health, jotting down symptoms like coughing, runny nose, and ear infections. They also noted when children were prescribed antibiotics. The researchers found that babies who grow up in homes with pets were 44% less likely to develop an ear infection and 29% less likely to receive antibiotics compared with pet-free babies. Children with dogs fared better than those with cats. Overall, babies who lived with a dog were 31% more likely to be healthy in their first year than babies without a dog. Children from homes with cats were 6% more likely to be healthy than those in cat-free families. Children in pet-friendly homes got fewer antibiotics to treat respiratory infections, and so far, all the evidence suggests that early exposure to pets may be most helpful in lowering children's risk of allergies and asthma. That's because during the first year of life, babies' immune systems are still learning how to recognize microbial friend from foe. And it could be that early training with low-dose exposures in the form of pet hair may be beneficial. As far as colds and ear infections, Bergroth is the name of the one who did the study, found something interesting. Children with pets were healthier overall, but the health benefit appeared to be the greatest in babies whose pets were not around as much. Those who had dogs who spent less than 6 hours a day inside, for example, had fewer infections than children who grew up with indoor-only dogs. This suggests that when animals are allowed to bring in more dirt and microbes from outdoors, it helps strengthen babies' immune systems faster. Some previous studies have shown, though, that for children who may have a predisposition to developing allergies or asthma, living with a pet can make their symptoms worse. Also, this study done in Finland was focused on children living in rural or suburban areas of Finland, and that the microbes dogs and cats track inside these regions may be different from those brought in by pets living in urban areas where unsanitary trash bins or sewers can have bugs that might harm infants rather than help. So you shouldn't get a pet to protect your child from colds, but you don't need to worry about getting rid of your dog when you've got a baby. On the psychological side, there was a study done in Croatia, and children who scored higher than average on the attachment to pets scale showed significantly higher scores on the empathy and pro-social orientation scales than non-owners, and children who scored lower than average on the attachment to pets scale. Children with higher levels of attachment to pets rated their family climate significantly better than children with lower attachment to pets. In Australia, a study of 37 elementary urban and rural schools found that the presence of cats in the classroom not only improved children's knowledge of responsible pet ownership, but it also increased class cohesiveness and the general atmosphere. The study, which was presented by Jonica Newby from the Pet Care Information and Advisory Service, also discovered that the cats generated a calm, orderly environment, modified disruptive behavior, and reduced friction. Pets have also been known to assist in building rapport with difficult-to-reach patients in psychotherapy and improving self-worth of traumatized children. Psychologists at Oregon State University found that teaching children to care for a puppy enhanced their social skills. It made the children more cooperative and sharing, said Dr. Sue Dosher, a psychologist involved in the study. Having a pet improves children's role-taking skills because they have to put themselves in the pet's position and try to feel how the pet feels, and that transfers to how other children feel. Children who were regularly given the opportunity to care for a puppy at their preschool, as well as those with pets at home, were found more socially competent. They were more popular, felt better about themselves, and were better able to understand other children's feelings. Now, for children who suffered from emotional neglect, the pets took another role. It helped them gain confidence and buffered against loneliness. In one study of children with severe emotional handicaps, half of the children received normal care, attending standard activity groups. The other half were allowed to play with a dog during therapy sessions. Those who had the therapy with a pet improved on key areas of measurement, like the ability to control their impulses and understand others, while those who received normal therapy got worse. And this study was done by Barbara Wood, who is a clinical social worker at the Capital University in Columbus, Ohio. Green Chimneys is an organization that opened in 1948. And Dr. Ross, who was responsible for its opening, said that only in the last decades have counselors begun to understand more fully the scope of the therapeutic advantages of contact with farm animals. Daily contact with animals and responsibility for their care offers the children a sense of self-worth, he said. For many children whose nurturing has been faulty, and they work with children who have come from very difficult homes, and he said taking care of an animal can interrupt the cycle of abuse repeating itself over generations. They can learn to be caregivers, even if they haven't been well cared for themselves. The most recent program at their center has children tend injured wildlife. The animals are released, if possible, once nursed back to health. It's an especially powerful experience for these children, who are wounded themselves in a sense, Dr. Ross said. If you can take care of a disabled animal and see that it can survive, even with a leg missing, then you get the feeling you can survive yourself. It's a bit corny, but true. So, personally, I am quite in favor of having a pet, but if you are a parent who absolutely hates animals, I don't recommend it. Having animals in the home but not treating them well or finding them to be a continual annoyance and disturbance is actually known to have a negative effect on children. So before you run out to your local humane society or a breeder and pick up the first mutt you see, take some time to really consider what kind of an investment that is. And remember too, if you have a child who is really attached to their pet, if you get angry with that pet, if you reject it or treat it badly, the child will take that as a personal rejection of themselves. So do your best, bite your tongue, and have patience with your children's pets. And I don't know that there's anybody who can deny the joy that an animal can bring, particularly a dog. When you come home and you may have had a bad day and the world's falling to pieces, but they are so excited to see you, their whole body is wiggling around.